All right, so this month here of October is if you're trading supply and demand, it's been kind of not say difficult, but you've had to wait for great opportunities or setups to unfold. And how I actually trade in waiting for opportunities to where the market pulls back to a area or zone off of the 120 range chart. Okay, because that's what I trade is range based charts. So I'm looking for a higher base setup, and then I move down to a lower base setup to look for an entry. Sometimes we don't always, or the market doesn't always pull back. This has been happening lately to a zone within the defined higher base chart. And then sometimes it'll tap that higher base zone, what we've been seeing lately, and just move away from it. There's been a couple examples where the market may, say, for example, hit a high probability 120 range base zone and just move away without filling in or moving into a redefined 24 range zone. So what I'm trading is based on confluence, where we have a matchup for a pair where, in this case here, if this was a supply setup, then I'm looking for the market to pull back to on the 24 range chart to an area of supply, a more refined area of supply, and looking for the rejection. It just gives me more confluence. What's been happening lately is that the market's been tapping the higher time frame zone or higher base zone, I should say, because I don't trade time-based charts, and just moving away. Now, yesterday was a beautiful setup, and typically speaking, I don't trade the afternoon session, but if I can't find anything in the morning session or pre-market, I'll keep my eye on the afternoon because I'm looking for at least one trade setup a day. But most times, if I get to a one and done type situation in trading, then during the pre-market or New York session, I'm done for that day. But the market's going to do what it wants to do. We're moving into the fourth quarter of the year. The market, like I talked about in previous videos, is always evolving, so we have to evolve and change as traders too. So, even myself, I like to trade pre-market, but I may have to wait to see if I can't catch anything in the morning, what happens in the afternoon. Now, sometimes I won't even trade in the afternoon depending on my schedule, but what I want to show you is the trade that I took yesterday, and it wasn't until almost like 2 o'clock, okay, to where the market, I took a short, going short, and that's why I have this green box here. These red boxes, these green boxes, what this is all centered around and how I have it marked up is all centered around structure. I keep telling you, and I say, yes, structure is very important. We need to, or at least I am taking trades based on the structure of the market. Not every zone, even though it pans out to be a high probability zone off of the higher base charts, is going to work out at all times, because the bigger picture is that we always need to be focused on structure. So, for example, like right here in this trades I took yesterday, the market broke higher here, moving into October the 10th, Asian and London session, and then into the New York session, it broke this area of structure right here when it made this push up higher. But, and at that point, yes, we are bullish as well, correct? But the thing I'm looking at the most, what appetized me to want to get into this trade setup, was where I saw structure being low, lower, high, and breaking to the downside. So you have to understand, because I've talked about this in many videos, the structure-based setups, you'll see where the market is making, trending to the upside, where it's breaking structure. But the moment we get a sign of reversal, I talked about this, where it makes a low, a lower high, and then it breaks structure to the downside. I mean, a clean area, nice structure break to the downside. You've got to be mindful on this area right here. Okay, you have to be mindful of this area right here, because this can definitely be an area of what? An area of structure for where there could be a supply area resting back. A supply area resting back right here. Okay, because we've moved to the upside, but now we're taking structure back to the downside. Okay, so that's what I was looking for. And I talked about the same thing if the market is, moving in the opposite direction. So if it was moving lower and making lower lows and lower highs, when we're breaking structure lower, but then it says so it makes a high, higher low, doesn't break the prior low, but takes out structure right here, you got to be mindful of what's going on right here. That's what I'm talking about. So this is very important. So even though, like I said, we're moving higher here, we actually break structure to the downside here, if you can see it, okay? And then we pull back right here. So this trade setup that I took, moving down to my 24 range chart, as you can see, there was an actual lower base 24 range supply zone, okay, inside of the bigger box here, which is my 120 range supply zone that I marked up. This setup, on this trade here, allowed me to pick up 33 points, and I could have actually held on to a lot longer, and I talked about that in videos about trying to maximize on your moves or your trades that you get into. So I got in here at the break and close of the candle at 38.5, and then got out here around 405. So it was like a 33 point pickup. I think I grossed like 320, excuse me, not 320, $1,320 on this trade right here, moving to the downside. It was a beautiful short. And why again did I take this trade? Because we were breaking structure back to the downside. Even though we were bullish here to the upside, but we made a high here, and then we started breaking structure to the downside. You have to look for that first area the market is turning. It's pivotal turning point to where it's breaking structure, because then you want to look for, in this case here, a pullback to a key area of supply. Yeah, this area here, is this a demand area right here? It is a demand area. Is it a high probability demand area in relation to structure being broken to the upside? Yeah, there is a gap back at the zone. But if I'm paying close attention to structure and what's going on at the current moment, this is a pullback to a key area where the market is showing its firsthand sign of reversal after breaking this area structure. Let me show you to the downside right here. Low, lower, high, breaking structure, taking out these lows right here, pullback, first area of supply resting at, look for the rejection off the lower base chart, and hopefully we can find where there is a zone within the zone. This ended up being a beautiful setup. Now, we haven't been getting a lot of these where lately where the market actually pulls back. You'll see it tap, as I said earlier in the video, to the higher base zone, but it won't actually pull inside the zone to a lower base zone, meaning a 24 range zone. Okay, so a zone within a zone. That's what I'm looking for, because it's pumping up. It's adding to the level of confluence for me to actually look for a trade opportunity. And once it does that, again, zone within the zone here. So the big zone, small zone, 24 range. The bigger box is the 120 range zone. The smaller box is the 24 range zone. Once I get the rejection with the break and close of the candle, I'm going short. And there's multiple ways. I mean, you can, people always want to ask, well, what do you look for when it comes to your target profit and your stop? Well, your stop's going to go on the back end right here. Once you get the break and the close of the candle, it's going to be back at the rejection point and give yourself a few areas of points of breathing room there. Because you see right here what happened. They came back, tested this area, wicked it by a tick or two, and then blasted to the downside. They know people's stops are resting right here. All right, so I just stay in the trade because we didn't get the break and close above the area stop. Okay, and then I'm looking for the market to run lower. Where? To take out the prior low that it just made down here. All right, or at least start filling in some of these fair value gaps, some of these gaps to the downside. Or you can set up, if you want, that trades based on risk to reward. You could use that, the risk to reward tool right here on NinjaTrader. Use it, or whatever trading platform you use. Set yourself up a 1-to-1 or 1-to-2. Or you could also trade and look for, like I always do, try to get into at least 20 points. Then once it taps into your 20-point area, take profit, close most of your contracts off, and then allow one contract to at least run to maximize the trade, and to allow a contract to actually run lower, in this case here. So that's what I was able to do and allow myself to take out down here. All right, so that was a 33-point pickup. And that's all I need on a daily basis, is a one and done type setup. Again, pay attention to structure, because then from there, once it came back into this zone, to this area here, or it tapped it, move lower. Okay, we didn't get a structure break. It just kind of wicked out below, grabbing liquidity, pull back, didn't break above this area, made a lower high to push lower. Okay, so that's what it did. It took out these lows right here, pushed lower, pull back, broke lower. So now we have another structure break to the downside, but this is a low probability area. On the higher base chart, can it reject this area again if it pulls back there? Yeah, but you're gonna have to decide for yourself if you want to look for that. I'm taking high probability setups surrounding structure of how the market is actually moving. If I can just get one good solid setup a day, I'm good. I'm golden. That's all I need. Okay. Again, over into the overnight session, we were running lower. We were bearish into the London, and coming out of London back into the US session, as you can see, right around the turning point when the market opened up, we started pushing back higher. Okay, and then what do? We took out some structure to the upside. This high right here got ran where we had this move to the downside, breaking structure back to the upside, as you can see right here. Okay, and now we're taking out these highs right here as well. So this is a demand area off of the higher base chart that I'm looking for the market to probably test. Will it get there today? I don't know. Today's Friday, so it could possibly into the afternoon session. I'm going to keep my eye on it. Again, I love to take my setups during pre-market or the first hour after the market opening up, but it's not been giving it to me the way that I really would love for it to see it set itself up. So I may have to wait. So I haven't taken, be honest, on this Friday here, a trade yet. And if it taps here and I'm doing something at some point in the day, even the afternoon session, and I'm away from my charts, then I just won't trade today. That's just how I do. That's how I trade. But going back, you got to pay attention to the structure. The market is making pivotal highs here, or it's making higher highs and higher lows. Boom, pulls back, break structure. This is why broke structure. We haven't broken any structure to the downside yet. Taps into this demand area. It's a valid demand area. It breaks higher. If you look to your left-hand side, you're going to see to where the market is breaking structure over here to the left-hand side. Okay, so this is a valid demand setup right here. Again, off the 120. All right, and then it pulls back, and then what does it do? It breaks higher. Okay, and at this point, after making this high, this is a pivotal sign right here where the market starts wicking at the tops here at a high. So for example, it could be some resistance to the left-hand side of the chart, or it could be an area of supply. But either way, what we see is start to make a lower high, and then break its first area of structure right here to the downside, pulls back, break structure again to the downside, okay? And then this is a valid supply area, all right? Valid supply. Down here, is this a demand setup? Of course it is. But look, I said this before. The first thing you need to pay close attention to, you have options, right? You have this pullback to this area of supply here. You also have this demand resistance right here. Which one are you going to take? Okay, supply pull back to supply, break structure, pull back to supply. Yeah, I'm going to take the supply setups over this demand setup right here because right now the market is moving and breaking structure lower. It's made a high and now it is taking out structure lower. Okay. It broke lower, pull back, broke structure, pull back, okay? Pull back to this area of supply right here, broke structure, took out this low, pulls back. This is a pullback to an area of supply. I'd rather take the supply setups over this area of demand. That's why I have it marked in red. Is it a valid demand setup? That's in looking at where there's a gap at. Is it high probability? It's high probability based on if we're talking about gaps. Is it high probability based on structure? No, okay? Not based on structure because structure now is bearish to the downside. We're breaking structure to the downside. So you have to get yourself to understand, think like I always talk about, the important part first, structure, okay? Yes, even though we have a zone that has a gap at, that doesn't mean it's always going to pan out and work out. Did it work out here? Yes, market tapped it, pushed higher. But again, I'm paying focus to structure breaks and taking my trades most likely in most instances, okay, in the direction of structure. Structure is king when it comes to trading, and it trumps all. Understand that. I wanted to talk about that setup I took, the structure surrounding it, why I took this short over looking for longs into yesterday's trading session, and it was a beautiful 33 point, $1,300 trade. Okay, but I did take a trade. I believe it was Monday. I just want to say this because this trade setup that I'm going to make an elite video today and post it for all those community members that have access to the private community who are elite members. You will have access to this. I haven't done a trade breakdown video in a while, and I want to talk about this one distinctly and specifically because the fact is, you will see with the market, say for example, it may be making higher highs and higher lows, right? Breaking structure back to the upside. But you'll see where on a higher base chart, for example, it'll run and take out liquidity. These are highs. This is where the market wicked this area out Okay, I'm going to talk about this in detail and how I got into the trade setup. I don't want to go into it, in this video here, because I got to give the elite members something, because they support and are loyal supporters here on the channel, and they support my efforts as a content creator. So, if you're an elite member, this is part of the one of the rewards that you receive in return are the trade breakdown videos, where I explain in detail setups and why I got into the trade, breaking it down, simplifying it so you understand and you can look for setups just like this. So if you're interested in becoming an elite member, the link is down in the description portion of this video and in all videos. Just scroll down right below the Discord link. The second link, you'll see one that says become an elite member. Click on that. You'll see 2 tiers pop up. The first one is, just the basic tier. The second one is for $6.99. Once you subscribe to that, that's monthly. That's all it is. $6.99, not a day, not a week, but a month. You gain access to all the trade breakdown videos. And I'm talking about there's quite a bit of them, to where you can go back and understand the strategy and how I trade it and how it actually works. But you got to be patient. You got to understand and wait for these type things to unfold. I also did a great video covering market structure, and that is highly, highly important, because if you do not understand market structure, then you're not going to really truly make it in this business, guys. So I just noticed that at some part in the video, I believe it was a couple minutes in, that the actual webcam has actually stopped working, but the audio was still good. So hopefully, you guys forgive me for about the webcam part. I'm not sure what happened there. The application must have stopped working, or that part of it must have stopped working at some point. But anyways, again, I was talking about for everyone that wants to become an elite member, the link is down below. You get the video playlist, the trade breakdowns, and the market structure video that I covered, all right? All for $6.99. The link is down below in the description for anyone that's interested in joining. It has been helping tons out that are already current members, okay? Outside of that, if you aren't a current member or subscriber here to the channel, I should say, please take the time, go ahead, click on the sub button right now, become a subscriber to the channel. If you spend time watching the video content, you will understand and grasp the strategy. Just take some notes. Again, by becoming an elite member and me walking you through these trade setups, you'll definitely start to understand, and things will unfold at a faster pace, okay? But yeah, become a member or community member by subscribing down below. Make sure to turn your post notifications on so you don't miss any of the uploads. And last but not least, if you found value in today's video content, I would greatly appreciate it if you click on that like button. I appreciate it. Thank you. To everyone, if you're trading, please be safe today. Not a lot of price action activity, based on the charts that I trade on the range charts. Kind of chopping sideways right now. We're in between this high and this low right here. It could come down and test this area here. We are breaking structure back to the upside, taking out some of these highs right here. This is a major high resting up here. So I'm looking for maybe possibly to test this area today. It may or may not. It could just continue ranging. It's building volume right here, but we'll see what happens. But be safe either way if you're trading, and have a fabulous weekend. I'll see everyone next week. Take care.